Hi you all, how you all doing? Welcome back to Karen Vibes, and as usual you'll find me on my YouTube channel Karen Vibes. Alright, I hope you're all doing okay. Despite all that is happening around us, I hope you're all doing okay. I'm just trying to take things easy, one day at a time. Alright, so today we're gonna get back into our reading without further ado, because I'm not doing this video live on Instagram where I would normally do it live and download it, because the internet is actually not picking up outside here. So I'm just doing normally on the phone. So can't do much talking before, which I normally would do. So let me just get straight into it. Alright, so I forgot that I needed to tape this. Alright, so as I usually do, I'd introduce my book. Name of my book is Minty Alley. I don't know, I can never get. Oh goodness. So the name of my book is Minty Alley, written by C.L.R. James and narrated by me, Karen Ware. Alright, so without further ado, grab your cup of tea. I have my cup of tea here. So I have my cup of tea here. I just did a demonstration with my teas. I'm actually going to be posting that video on my page here. So I made a cup and I'm actually pimento tea. Oh my goodness, guys. Please, you guys need to get some of these teas, cave spicy teas. Pimento tea tastes lovely. So it's dried pimento leaves. It tastes lovely. I can't explain the taste, but the taste is lovely. So when I post that video, please get your teas. Please support cave spicy teas. Alright, so without further ado, so let's get into our reading. So grab your tea, grab your cool glass of drink, or if you're busy doing something and listening, no problem. Alright, so we stopped at we read chapter 7. We had finished chapter 7. We had stopped at chapter 8. So we're reading chapter 8 now. Alright, let's get into it. So chapter 8. That night, number 2 was a curious mixture of quiet, enlivened by flashes of excitement. All the talking and discussion and reconstruction came afterwards. What everyone was really waiting for was the appearance of Ben. So Ben is the one that he's the center of the discussion. He's the one who was having an affair with the nurse. Everybody waiting on him now to hear his side of the story. Anyway, so what everyone was really waiting for was the appearance of Ben. As far as they knew, he had no inkling at all of all that had happened. Having gone away as usual after lunch, Ella said that Mrs. Rose had learnt what was going on since the day before, but had kept her own counsel. It seemed too that she had discovered a similar situation some months before, but had pardoned the couple. But this turned out to be some kissing alone, and both the nurse and Ben swore that there was nothing else in it. Ella enlightened Haynes about Ben. That man, sir, he have a devil. From the time I come here, that man is after me. What? Said Haynes. He had thought that the nurse, Wilma, and Mrs. Rose represented the limit of Ben's activity. Yes, sir. I had to tell him I didn't play so rough. Good night, sir. Good night, Ella. Now that woman gone, sir, there will be peace in the place. Good night, sir. Good night, Ella. Been a busy day, sir, and you were having fever only the other day. Better have a quiet evening, sir. I think I shall, Ella. Thank you. But except for Mrs. Rose, who had gone to her bedroom, every separate member of the household paid him a visit that night. So everybody come with for them piece of story. Phyllis came first with swollen eyes. "Mr. Haynes, lend me some matches, please." But she did not go. "How is Mrs. Rose?" asked Haynes. "She had to take to her bed, Mr. Haynes. Her head is bursting and her heart is full. What will happen when Mr. Ben come, I don't know. Mr. Haynes, the nurse behaved too badly to Madame. Whenever she out on duty, she meeting Mr. Ben, and the Madame been so kind to the nurse. Excuse me, Mr. Haynes, I have to go and boil some tea for the Madame. Nothing buy yet in the grocery. The things not washed up, everything is a mess." The next was Miss Atwell. "Mr. Haynes," she said, "you must excuse me, Mr. Haynes. A tragedy have taken place. In all my days, I have never seen such a brass face as that nurse. After they do so much, after they do so much for her, that is the way she turn around, not only to take the man away, but to actually give cheeks on the bargain. But she will come to a bad end. Everybody glad she's gone. It puts an end to all her tricks. It puts an end to all her tricks with you and Ella. The house will be at peace now. Good night, Mr. Haynes. I'm going for a walk on the seawall. I needs a little ozone, Mr. Haynes, to freshen up the lungs." Not 10 minutes afterwards, Haynes heard a knock below the window on the other side of the house. "Mr. Haynes! Mr. Haynes!" Before he could move, Maisie's head and shoulders appeared above the sill. Haynes was almost as startled as on the night of Miss Atwell's first appearance. "Anybody here?" she whispered. "No." "Give me a hand," she said, and Haynes helped her into the room. "Close the door, Mr. Haynes." Haynes closed the door. "You had better lock it." Haynes locked it. "If anybody comes, don't open." Haynes nodded. "Mr. Haynes, you look frightened. But you're all right. It's me who is in the stew. It's me who is in the stew." "No, I am not frightened. Why should I be frightened?" "But what stew are you in?" "They inside swearing vengeance on me. All of them saying that it is when I laugh at Miss Atwell's. Sorry, let me read this again. All of them saying that it is when I laugh. At least Miss Atwell keep on saying so. That it is when I laugh I spoil the whole business. And Miss Atwell vexed already because I said the bailiff was coming." "But was the bailiff coming?" "No." "No," laughed Maisie. "No bailiff was coming. But how can they know whether the bailiff was coming or not?" "But there's more in this than you know, Mr. Haynes. Plenty more. The nurse gone and the nurse is not coming back. That is what is killing me. If she would only take me. This house is going to be a prison cell." She was speaking in a low tone, and the last few words had been addressed as much to herself as to Haynes. Suddenly, she held up her head. "Mr. Haynes, I hope you don't mind my being here. I want to see what will happen when Ben comes." "No, no, 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 not at all," said Haynes. And he didn't. He was seeing for the first time what an extremely pretty girl Maisie really was and what a fine figure she had. Here this story comes to life. She sat thinking her own thoughts, and Haynes watched her. Never before had he seen her so grave. "Mr. Haynes, I feel to run away from the place. Only the nurse used to bother with me here. Mrs. Rose thinks of one thing, and that is Ben. I only had a good time when the nurse was here. The nurse used to stick up for me. They used to pay 5 shillings a month for me at a private school. I was bright at school. Mr. Haynes, Mr. Haynes, but Mr. Ben said that it is only a waste of money. He said that women want to get on in the world. He say what women want to get on in the world they haven't to learn in school. They're born with it. But the nurse stick out for me to go. And after they take me away, she say that if I too big to go to school, I big enough to go out. And whenever they counting out money to spend at Christmas and Carnival and Easter, the nurse always put in a dress for me and a pair of shoes and so on. And little dances and bazaars. And little dances and bazaars. If it wasn't for the nurse, I would never go. Mrs. Rose only used to be thinking of Ben, 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 Ben all the time. Anywhere to go, Mr. Ben is to go. Any circus and so on, come here, Mr. Ben going. If they have money or ain't have money, he have to get some to go. And plenty money too. And Mrs. Rose will break her neck to get it for him. Then she press clothes and buy shirt for him and he gone. She behind. See for both of us, and that is what she always telling him. Then when he go and come back, she sit down to hear what he say. She in the kitchen like a slave and he like a prince. And look what he do her. Serve her damn well right. Mr. Haynes, before the nurse come to live here, nobody used to come here. Only a lot of old people. I used to go and stand by the gate. As soon as Mrs. Rose finished in the kitchen, she calling me in. I must come in and stay in. If Ben there, if Ben there, if Ben there, they're talking. If Ben out, she's sitting down, nodding in the chair, waiting until he come. It's only the nurse used to bring a little brightness into the house. Now she gone. Maisie lifted her head and looked at Haynes. I tell you, Mr. Haynes, what I wish is that Mrs. Rose I tell you, Mr. Haynes, what I wish is that Mrs. Rose had gone and the nurse stopped. She dropped her head on her arm and said slowly, it's all Ben's fault. That man, he would carry his freshness to the Virgin Mary. There were footsteps in the yard. Maisie raised her head and listened as a dog does. Ben, she signaled with her lips to Haynes. The footsteps. Ben's footsteps came to Haynes' door. Haynes! Haynes! Said Ben. You there? Haynes was about to answer, but Maisie put her finger before her lips and went to the window. She swung herself over, but before her head had disappeared, she gave Haynes a nod and a smile, as if to say, go ahead. Yes, answered Haynes, and opened the door. Alright, so I'll stop there for this evening. Short and spicy. I'll stop there for this evening. So we actually finished chapter 8, so the next chapter we'll read on when we come back is chapter 9. Yes, I think the story getting juicy, spicy. Alright guys, so oh my goodness, I didn't remember my tea. My tea is actually cold. I'm gonna warm up my cup and have it though. Alright folks, so you all have a wonderful evening. Oh my goodness. You know what I nearly said a while ago, Sunday evening. I forgot today is a holiday here in Jamaica. It's actually Ash Wednesday. And every time when it's a holiday, I'm always mistaking it for Sunday because the place is so quiet. Oh my goodness, silly me. Getting old. Anyway, you all have a wonderful Wednesday evening, whatever you're doing, and we will be back on again soon. Alright, so take care. Peace out. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Peace out.